Hello my friends and welcome back to our show. Today we're going to make some stir fry. We're going to do some great stir fry today. And we're going to actually use some beyond beef steak. This is a little chopped up steak. And we're going to use linguini and a few ingredients. Now you can use either linguini noodles, you can use spaghetti noodles, or you can use like ramen noodles. I pulled these out, but I'm really not gonna use them. Use ramen noodles, but anything that's like a spaghetti or linguini type noodle. Since we're using steak, even though it's chopped up into little bits, I like to use something like a little bit more sizable, like a linguini, or even a spaghetti, not like a angel hair pasta, not something that thin. Okay, so we're gonna start this off by we're gonna boil the linguini. So let's get our water going. We're gonna take a saucepan, at least enough water to be above the pasta. So I have less than half a pot of water. So I'm gonna put that on to boil. In fact, I'll put it on the back. Burn it to boil, and I'm gonna put it up high. Start putting in the other ingredients for the stir fry. Now we have a bigger pot. We're gonna use this big pot for all the other ingredients because they're gonna do like a fry. This is the fried part. We're gonna do a red bell pepper. We're gonna do some broccoli, and we're gonna do some mushroom. Now the mushroom you use really doesn't matter, okay? You can use any kind of mushroom. But I'm using right now, this is a portobello mushroom. So I'm gonna cut off. See, I love peppers because they have kind of like their own sectioning. You can pretty much just cut off a section, and that's usually a section or two that usually is suitable for a dish. So one section, I'm gonna cut off one section. It's not that big because I'm not gonna make that much, and it's gonna be just fine. So I'm gonna slice here it goes. I took out the seeds, right? So I'm just gonna slice this down this way so that just get it all sliced down so that it's not, just one big chunk going in there. Now this is pretty good. Now if you're the type of person that doesn't like to taste like peppers, then you can still put peppers in your food, but you want to slice it up, either slice it up very fine, or you want to even grate it. Use a hand grater and grate it up, or put it in a food processor and chop it up very fine, because the flavor from it is pretty important. But chopping it up fine keeps you from having that like real strong. It makes it like subtle and kind of worked into the dish, instead of having like that outstanding distinctive flavor. Okay, so here we go. Here's our red peppers all chopped up. Put them in there. Okay. I'm going to, as you know, I'm always gonna wash my board off. Okay, I'm gonna wash my board off before I chop anything else with it. Right, I gotta keep everything clean. So I'm gonna chop up the mushroom. Now, peppers don't need to be washed like every time you use it. So you can rinse a pepper off one time and then just cut, your little section out and then use it, later on without having to keep washing it. But this portobello mushroom. Like this is the first time I'm using it, so I'm definitely gonna rinse it off, especially the skin, because it's, the top always has like little dirt, a little bit of dirt on it. So I'm gonna wash it off with cold water, rinse it off, and I'm gonna actually dry it because I'm making a stir fry, not a stir saute, right? You know, you don't wanna, we're not sauteing, right? So we're gonna try to fry it. So you don't wanna have much water in your dish. So I have my mushroom. I'm gonna move over here so you can see better. So I have my mushroom, and I'm gonna just slice it up. You know, nothing big, right? Slice it into, you know, small chunks, just like the pepper. Okay, so here we go. Here's the mushroom. I'm gonna add that in there. Now we're going to just put the broccoli in here. Now you want to put in, you know, not a whole lot of broccoli, just enough that it has a presence. So, you know, not much broccoli. Just put like a little, a couple of, maybe but maybe 6 florets in here. And if you like, you can actually cut them down if they, you know, if you feel like it's too chunky. Be careful, watch your fingers. I'm gonna kind of cut these into small parts. Well, that one. If it's big like this, you can cut the stem off and then cut it in half. And here's another big one. Cut the stem off, then cut it in half. I use my fingers on the opposite sides, not where the blade is. Okay, and now I'm going to just put in some avocado oil. Just sprinkle it around a little bit, and just enough so that it's gonna cover everything. By the time you stir it, and put your heat on, it'll settle down and it will cover the bottom. And I'm going to add onion powder. Again, no salt. I'm not going for the salt. You're gonna put 4 sprinkles of onion powder. If you see it, it's in there. Garlic, minced garlic, garlic powder, nothing with salt. You just sprinkle it. A few sprinkles of it. Wait, if you see it, it's in there. Pepper. A little sprinkle of pepper. You don't have to go crazy with seasoning. Okay? Now, that's it. We did the onion powder, minced garlic, and black pepper. Okay? So now we have the fire going. Now this stuff is on fire and it's starting to cook up. Alright, so now you're going to take a wooden spoon and just kind of stir it around. Stir it around. Stir it around. You're stirring it just so you can see that it's mixing it, right? It's all mixed together. While that's cooking up some, our water is boiling back here. So now we're going to add our linguini. So as you can tell, I don't do much for measuring with measuring cups and stuff like that. I do my measuring pretty much by hand, by sight. Okay, that flipped right in the pot. I'm gonna take it right back out. So cooking for one person and stir frying of the amount that I have, I'm pretty much going to use about a third of the box, which is about this much. So I'm going to break it in half, sprinkle it in, sprinkle it in. Alright, and I'm going to be done with that. And I am going to now add my steak. Right? So with the steak, I'm going to, so I'll measure it so you guys can, get kind of like a crack. So I'm going to use, like, here's a serving spoon. Let me get like a scoop out. Here's one scoop. And I'm going to scoop about 2 scoops. 2 scoops of steak. This is right? 2 scoops of steak. That should be enough. I'm going to stir that in. But then this stuff doesn't take long to cook. As you can see, the broccoli is defrosted and it's tender. It's frozen, so it tends to be a little more tender originally. Not, soup can get you still, if you want that crunch, you'll still get a crunch. But it doesn't take, once it's thawed out, it's defrosted, it's pretty much ready to go. So since that's cooked fast, we can just let this sit here until the linguini is ready. So my linguini is cooking up. See how it's starting to fluff up. So linguini is ready when it's pretty much, it's on the whiter side. Then yellow, it's kind of turned away from the yellow color and more into like a pale white, like an off-white type color, right? And it's all swollen up. So you want to just let it sit. And I'll put it on this. It has a higher flame, which is actually better for it. So you want to just pretty much let it sit and let it cook up until it gets to that like off-white beige type of color, all right? And if you're not sure after that, you want to just pick it up, make sure it's limp. You can taste it, take one out, taste it, make sure it's fully cooked. Make sure there's no crunch. If there's any bit or hint of a crunch in that pasta, it is not ready. It is not ready. Okay? So you want to give anybody any half-cooked pasta. Some people add oil to the water. You don't have to. You don't have to. If it, if you poke it like I do, it separates the pasta. So you don't have to add oil. Okay, move it like that. It separates the pasta so it doesn't, so you don't have to add oil. Okay, so we're gonna give that between 5 and 10 minutes to cook. And so we'll let that cook up a little bit and then we're gonna finish off this dish. Okay, so now as you can see, our pasta is ready. It's nice and fluffy. Look at that, nice and bendy. The water has pretty much boiled out completely. Right, so we can rinse the pasta off, and since we don't use the water here, I'm gonna use a bottle of water. I'm just gonna pour it right in there. Just enough to wet that pasta up really good. Right, mix it up, and then I'm just gonna pour that out. I'm gonna pour it out. I'm gonna hold it with the spoon, hold it back with the spoon so the pasta's not falling all into the sink. Right, don't bend it too much that the pasta like falls over the spoon. So now the pasta is ready to be added to our stir fry. All right, so 2 last things we're going to add are, you might have 3 things we're gonna add. So this is Lipton onion soup, onion mushroom soup. Here we go. Lipton onion mushroom soup. We're gonna add this because we have mushroom in there, but this is going to enhance the mushroom taste and the onion taste. And this actually has the salt that we're not adding, right? And that's exactly why we don't add salt. I'm just gonna open that up, and I'm gonna pour in half a pack. Actually, a little less than half a pack. You just want to make sure that when you see the seasoning, you see how it's in there. That's plenty. You see it, it's in there. It's going to be good, right? So I'm gonna mix that up in there. You don't need the fire to do this. Just mix it up. This ensures that it's gonna have some flavor. It's gonna have a good flavor. This is Lipton onion soup mixes like this are perfect for making quick recipes where you don't want to have a lot of ingredients. We could have just made this with just the broccoli, the mushroom, the meat, and just poured this in and with the oil, and it would have come out great. But I like to ensure that I have my garlic in there. All right, I like to ensure that I have my garlic, and this backs up the onion flavor, and I like the onion flavor to back this up too. So that's why I do that. So now I'm going to add in my pasta. Just put that in there. Get it all out of the pot. Get it all out of the pot. Yeah. Right, so now this is how we have it looking. This is how we look now. We're gonna stir this up. Okay, now we're gonna do this. Now we're gonna start to do this back over the fire. Right, so I'm gonna add a little olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, but I'm gonna add this last. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add now this is Kikkoman, the original teriyaki sauce. So let's put the fire on. This is going to give it that brown color. It's going to give it a great taste. This is going to make this taste like stir-fry. So I'm just pouring it in over. I want you to see this. Okay, the pot's not real hot yet, so I'm just pouring it in over it, not drowning it, just making sure I see it over the top. Doesn't have to be brown. Just make sure I see it over the top, and it's gonna go to the bottom. And I'm just gonna stir it, and I'm stirring it over the fire to heat it up. Not so much to cook it, but just to pretty much heat everything up so that the flavor, once it's hot, it takes the flavor on better. And now I'm gonna add just pour a little bit. Matter of fact, I will do it. I'll pour, let's say a spoonful. Let's add 2 teaspoonfuls of olive oil. 2 teaspoons of olive oil. And once you hear that, you know, that cooking sound, you hear it cooking, then you want to just stir it. Now, when you stir it and you don't hear that cooking sound anymore, then you know that's a sign that the coal has gotten to the bottom of the pot and cooled the pot down a little bit. So you want to wait till it heats back up. As long as you hear this cooking sound, it's heated, right? It's hot. Again, since everything is already cooked, the pasta's already cooked, the meat and the veggies are already cooked, you don't have to really recook this. You just want to make sure everything is, you know, heated, and all the flavors are blending together. And you don't really want to heat this. You don't really want to cook this extra virgin olive oil anyway. So now it's still, even though I'm stirring it, you still hear that cooking sound. So that means everything is hot in here. It's all hot. and ready to go. Smells good. Oh my goodness. Wow. Here we go. Look at that. Look at the colors, the reds, the greens, the brown. Nice mix of colors. It's not real oily or greasy. And it tastes good. Get a little taste in here. Taste it with the spoon. Now I'm gonna taste the meat and the pasta. Spoon it on. Scoop that, get some of that mushroom. Wow. That's good. Now you can use any kind of meat. You want to use regular steak, pork. You can use different meats in this. But for those of you who don't eat meat, I'm using we're using the Beyond Beef steak. Or you can even do this with no meat. It's delicious, and you just use it as a side. So it's delicious, and anybody you give this to is gonna be impressed that you know how to make something like this. So make sure you try it. Put in the comments how it worked out for you, and make sure that you like, share, and slam that subscribe button